The term discovery is at once ironic and unliteral, for it was discovered strictly by the European standards and most often a reluctant encounter by Native American ones. With their own world newly enlarged, the Europeans sought earnestly to account for the origin of millions of people in the Americas, but their explanations were at best sheer speculation. Even the most enlightened thinkers necessarily move within the framework of their own cultural traditions, bounded by a strong Christian theology and a book of Genesis in which the Americas was not even mentioned, and for every innovative scholar there was a counterpart whose mind reverted to the crediclusiveness of the Middle Ages. Theories of the origins of the American Indians range from overland migrations out of Asia, starting modern in concept, to origination from decaying matter and spontaneous generation from mud. Okay, says theologies of origin. It says in New England, the noted theologian Cotton Mather had submitted that the devil himself probably decoyed these miserable savage heathens. Says although earlier churchmen usually attribute their presence to God. It says one Spanish clergy said, after considering the problems of travel from known areas of the world, that a separate Adam and Eve must have been created for the Americas because of the reports of its ideal climate and bountiful vegetation declared the New World to be paradise. Others were equally convinced that the descendants of Noah were the ancestors of the American Indians. It says the Tower of Baal easily accounted for the diversity of the native languages. As for as for variations in skin color, many thought that the sun had darkened the pigment, but one scholar wrote that the Indian people who lived in the equator zones were closer to heaven and therefore had lighter skin. Later in the 17th century, scholars began to assume a less the theological approach to the question. Immigration from the ancient cities and countries were imagined among them were Phoenicia, Carthage, Troy, Polynesia, Greece, early Spain, and China, and for centuries a tradition of Jewish origin endured. One or more of the 10 tribes of Israel explained man in the Americas, and scholars found languages similar to the societal languages, similarities, and societal customs that they says that they judge constituted valid proof. A Welshman related the discovery of America by the Welsh Prince Madoc and his fellows in the 20th century. Many writers consider not one but a combination of racial origins in the